Good morning, everyone. My name is Roger Brandbold. I am Chair of the University of Regina Board of Governors, and I will be your MC this morning. I'd like to start by acknowledging that we are gathered virtually on Treaty 4 territory and traditional territory of the Cree, Saulteaux, Dakota, and Nakota peoples in the homeland of the Métis. Welcome faculty, staff, and friends of the University of Regina to the virtual launch of our 2020-2025 strategic plan. Joining us today from the Ministry of Advanced Education are Minister Tina Beaudry-Miller, Deputy Minister Mark McLaughlin, and from Sector Management and Relations are Brent Brownlee, Acting Executive Director, Darcy Cherney, Acting Director of Universities. From the City of Regina, His Worship Mayor Michael Fougere, and from Saskatchewan Polytechnic, Dr. Larry Rosa, President and CEO, along with several members of the leadership team. And a special welcome to our Board of Governors who are able to join us this morning. Dr. Carlos Landano, Gurjinder Singh, President of the Student Union, our Vice Chair, Dr. Marlene Smadou, and Dr. Art Opset. To start us walking together in a good way, I'd like to invite Elder Dennis Omiosu to speak with us about the meaning behind the title of our new strategic plan and to give blessing to all of our relations. Kahkiyaw, kiwâhkômâkaninawak. Elder Omiosu.
Thank you. First of all, I want to thank you for asking me to be a part of this meeting. I'm happy to do so. Before I explain about what the phrase all our relations, I would like to do an invocation. Usually, always in all the meetings that I've attended, they've always acknowledged kahkiyaw first. They tell a story from the heart at this moment that is sincere. And I'm going to be burning sweet grass just to acknowledge its sacredness, because people at the time, they felt they were not even worthy of even mentioning that perfect name. So we summon the source, which is God, Creator, or whatever you want to call this life-giving force. And noktawinan musin ksimanto na nas kumuna nokskan kantum gawi hana noksumut ka pikskuan. We chi na noksumut kanwen kana sona ma kana pikskune kamioski noktawinan. Ema egunigo ke gawapske to gawi tapmo noksumut. We are wow ektagan was so nach kan mias kan pikskone go chich kuts ku tenigan egunigo no ku magananak. I don't have a long time to talk to you, but I gave a short acknowledgement to our Father to help us select the right words for the benefit of future generations. My name is Dennis Omiosu. I'm from Treaty 6 territory. I identify myself through my God-given language, which is Plains Cree. I want to thank the organizers of this strategic planning meeting. I hope everyone is doing good along with your family, health-wise, and to remember in your thoughts to those who may be struggling. My position for U of R is a life speaker at the Indigenization Office. Regarding the phrase, all our relations, we always acknowledge kahkiyaw, God, Creator, the great mystery, or whatever you want to call this life-giving force. All creation, all spoke the same language, and their minds were so keen when everything was absolute. The water was clean, abundant food, medicines, fresh air, and free from any contamination of sort. To elaborate on what the term relatives meant to the Indian people is to foremost acknowledge Mamawukuhtawino, Music Semanto, or our Father, kind, loving God's Spirit. Since the creation of humankind, the Indian race was given a gift of spirituality, which acknowledged that stone, trees, four-leggeds, the ones who crawl, those who fly, two-leggeds, air, water, earth, fire, and so on as brothers and sisters. During the time of creation, no one was better than the other, and no one was worse off than the other. All are equal. We are all Mamo Kohtawino, Semanto's children. We are all related. Kahkiyaw, kiwâhkômâkaninawak, all our relatives. Thank you.
Thank you, Elder Omiosu. A bit of housekeeping. We'd ask that you mute your microphone and turn off your camera. We'll have a question and answer time towards the end of the presentation. Simply post a note to everyone in the chat feature along with your full name and indicate that you have a question. And we'll get to as many of those questions as time allows. If you prefer, you can send your question to strategic.planning@uregina.ca and one of the team will get back to you. As many of you know, we had planned to launch our strategic plan early this April. The COVID-19 pandemic changed those plans and so many others. As we proceed with caution and good planning into many recovery phases of the pandemic, it feels right to launch our 2020-2025 strategic plan now in order to guide us through these challenging times, through 2024 and our 50th anniversary as an independent institution, and on into the future. As Associate Professor in Biology within the Faculty of Science, Carrie graciously agreed to chair the plan's facilitation team, overseeing the collaborative process that would lead to the creation, that was me, overseeing the collaborative process that would lead to the successful creation of our 2020-2025 strategic plan. Quite a massive undertaking in a relatively short amount of time. Starting in August 2019, Carrie and her team of 13 volunteers engaged with and received invaluable input from more than 1,300 of our students, faculty, staff, alumni, local communities, Indigenous elders, industry partners, and government representatives. This plan truly embodies all of our voices and is ours. Ours to own, to gather around, to wrestle with, and ours to implement. It is my honor to ask Dr. Carrie Finley to take us through a high-level overview of the University of Regina 2020-2025 strategic plan. Carrie.
Thank you so much for that introduction, Mr. Chair. I'm going to share my screen and get presentation up. That should work. Yeah, I also want to thank Elder Dennis for his words this morning and for his contributions throughout this process. Dennis was a very consistent and influential presence throughout the strategic planning process. He started us off early in the process by leading us as the facilitation team in a pipe ceremony. We, at that time, asked him if he would name the strategic plan for us. And when he came back to us with this title, a few months later, it really resonated with the team. It really reflected, we felt, what we had heard from campus, off campus, and from our communities. There's a real strength that we heard from everybody that we talked to in terms of the University of Regina and its strength in our relations with others, both within the university campus, off campus, and with our communities. So I'm really excited to be able to take you through our new strategic plan called All Our Relations, or kahkiyaw, kiwâhkômâkaninawak. Maybe. There we are. So as Roger had mentioned, we undertook fairly extensive engagement with the University of Regina community starting in about September of 2019. And we conducted surveys, we had world cafes, we had come and go sessions, we had other events going on where lots of people were coming out and contributing to provide us with input, provide us with feedback, and let us know how we were doing along the way and give us a lot of great ideas. So what came out of this, obviously a lot of conversations that we had and a lot of discussions as a facilitation team to try to put all this together into one coherent package. And what came out of this were these 5 areas of focus. So these are 5 big, broad areas that we think we need to work on going forward that really need to be priorities for the next 5 years at the U of R. With each of these 5 areas of focus, we have 5 goals. So one goal for each of the 5 areas of focus, and these are to be accomplished by 2025. These goals are big. These goals are bold. They're going to take a lot of work. They're ambitious. Really excited about them, but it's really going to require all of us to work together in order to accomplish these goals by the end of that 5 years. We really hope that everybody at the University of Regina can see themselves in this plan, that they can get excited and can get behind the content of the plan, and that they can see how they can contribute to it, because we are going to need everybody to work together in order to get to these goals. I'm really excited to see where we are in 5 years from now. So these 5 areas of focus, I'll spend most of my time talking this morning, taking you through the 5 areas of focus and some of the details within them. So the first area of focus we identified is discovery. So we define this as the development and dissemination of new knowledge, as well as the personal insights that arise from active learning. So discovery to us is, what we are doing as a post-secondary education. This is what we're doing at the university. We are learning new things. This is where, your faculty, where the staff, where the students, where people start to get really excited when you start to see the light really shine behind someone's eyes, is when they learn something new, when they discover something new. These are the aha moments, in your learning process. This is not just cutting edge research, although that's definitely part of it. But this is also, when you're in the classroom and you learn something that pieces things together from 4 other classes that you took, and all of a sudden it all comes together into one coherent whole. This is having students work with researchers directly in the lab, in the field, getting out there and really experiencing it hands-on. Discovery requires that we all work together. We can do it, it's possible to do this discovery on your own, but it's so much better, it's so much more collaborative. We can learn so many more new things if we work together. So discovery, we are aiming to strengthen our connections among our students, our faculty, and our staff. So the goal associated with discovery is that all students will participate in experiential learning opportunities. So we think that this is really big, and again, quite bold in terms of ensuring that every student that comes to the University of Regina will have this opportunity. So our diagram here is showing that we wanted to emphasize that discovery is where teaching and research come together. Teaching and research don't have to be separate. Some people do a little bit more research, some people do a bit more teaching, but when both of those things come together, that's where the discovery, that's where the excitement, that's where the real learning occurs. So if we can get all of us together in our groups in bigger collaborative areas, then this is where we'll discover great new exciting things. So all of our students participating in experiential learning opportunities includes a lot of different possibilities. Things like getting our undergrads in our research labs and out in the field, having co-op experiences, getting practica, real job experiences and so forth. So getting the students so that it's not strictly textbook learning opportunities at the University of Regina, but also getting them out there and applying that knowledge and being able to experiencing it more fully. So we have 3 objectives. So for each of our goals, we have 3 objectives. And so this is how we're going to reach these goals and how we're going to work towards these areas of focus. For discovery, we've got excellence in teaching and research. So this is emphasizing that we need the strong base in both teaching and research in order for discovery to work. We want to promote and support good teaching and research practices, and also really want to promote multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary, transdisciplinary research in here. The second objective here is student success. So here we have a series of points under these different objectives, but under student success, this is things like looking at student retention and graduation rates, providing supports for career-ready students so that they are ready to launch their career when they graduate from the U of R. Also looking into distance learning opportunities. For internationalization, we recognize that at this point, we're at, I believe, roughly 19% of our student population is international. And these students are, they're coming to the University of Regina. We want to make sure that these students are very well supported when they get here, that they feel welcome and included, and that we can also work with them to offer an international experience to our students that are here as well. There's a lot of opportunity for co-learning to occur. Internationalization, we had a lot of conversation about student and staff and faculty mobilization and getting our people out into the world as well, or outside of the University of Regina. Obviously, that might be put on hold right now, but hopefully in not too long period of time, we can get people moving as well to get that international experience. Okay, so our second area of focus is truth and reconciliation. So truth and reconciliation, this is where we want to work to strengthen our connections with our past and our present and use that information to strengthen our connections with our future. So we have to reconcile with our past. We need to learn about our past. We need to see where we are now. And this is a very important topic in the news a lot right now. And it's the only way that we can move together into the future in a good way. So the goal for Truth and Reconciliation is to take significant action on the Truth and Reconciliation Commission's calls to action that are relevant to post-secondary education. So this goal is allowing us to build upon a lot of the really strong and important work that has happened at the U of R in the past several years. So the Reconciliation Action Committee and the Indigenous Advisory Circle has done a lot of work on this, and they have identified TRC calls to action that, that we can work towards. So we want to not only identify these calls to action, but actually be able to start to measure them. So be able to say that we did do action that is going to work towards these goals. The objectives that follow under this. So again, we've got 3 of these. So the first one is to improve supports for Indigenous students, staff, and faculty. We do need to increase our representation of First Nations, Inuit, and Métis individuals on campus. And those individuals that are here, they need to have appropriate support so that they feel, again, welcome, included, and a part of the U of R community. In some cases, this might mean a stable presence of elders and knowledge keepers. Just ensuring that the environment here is conducive for them to feel a part of the community and a crucial component of the U of R. Our second objective is to provide educational opportunities and experiences across Saskatchewan. So the idea here was that we are, although our name is the University of Regina, we are a provincial university. We are committed to providing education to individuals across the province, and that includes individuals that are in rural and remote areas. We shouldn't have to expect those individuals to travel, to relocate into urban centers in order to gain an education. So we want to make sure that we are providing these educational opportunities for those that are interested in learning and want to have a university education. The third objective then is to incorporate Indigenous ways of knowing into teaching and research. And again, this is building upon some previous work that has occurred here, specifically from the Reconciliation Action Committee's working group guide. So we need to work very hard on this to respectfully and meaningfully engage Indigenous communities in the research and teaching enterprises. Our third area of focus is well-being and belonging. Here we are looking to strengthen connections with ourselves. So we had a lot of conversations as a facilitation team centering around the medicine wheel. And so we want to strive to have a real balance between the emotional, physical, mental, and spiritual well-being of our students, our staff, and our faculty. So the goal here is to assess, adopt, implement, and improve student thriving metrics. These thriving metrics, this is not something that we've measured yet. We haven't started looking into this, but I think it's definitely time to start. So the thriving metrics are going to be looking at things like sense of purpose and sense of belonging. So those things that really make people feel like they are part of the community, that they belong, that they are included. This will also include things like mental health and emotional well-being. So we need to get our baseline, and we will aim to improve that over the 5-year period as well. So the 3 objectives that fall from this, the first one is equity, diversity, and inclusion. Again, I think the U of R is doing a great job in the last few years on EDI. The addition of the EDI officer in the research office, I think, has been a huge bonus, a real benefit to the U of R community. And I think a lot of stuff that's been going on recently, I think, is a very positive step. We do have a lot still to do. So the equity, diversity, and inclusion objective is going to include development of recruitment and retention plans, and lots of EDI and inclusion outreach, training, and so forth for all of our students, staff, and faculty. For healthy living, we want to ensure that every individual can take agency or have agency in their well-being as much as they can. So we're going to look into, we want to examine barriers to fitness. We want to find opportunities to improve healthy living on and off campus, and evaluating our food services. That was something that came up a lot. So we really need to look into that and what opportunities are available on campus. For mental health literacy and research, we know that mental health research on campus is a real strength that we have. There's some phenomenal research going on campus, and we want to continue to promote and support that. We also want to provide mental health resources to those on and off campus that need it. Another thing that we had heard is that, you know, there's a lot of resources available if you're on the U of R campus in the city of Regina, but once you get off and you're doing more distance learning, and I think especially right now, we need to make sure that these are very accessible off campus as well. Our 4th area of focus is environment and climate change. In this area of focus, we had a lot of conversations about the need to make sure that our actions that we do today have a positive impact for future generations. So we want to strengthen our connections with our environment, but we also, this is a connection with our future as well. So making sure that what we are leaving behind for future generations is worthwhile being at the University of Regina for. So to this end, our goal for this area of focus is a 25% reduction in our ecological footprint. And this ecological footprint is defined as all 3 of greenhouse gases, so a 25% reduction in our greenhouse gas emissions, 25% reduction in our water consumption, and a 25% reduction in our waste production. So all 3 of those things we want to see decrease within the next 5 years. Again, this is big. It's going to take a lot of work in order to reach this goal, but I think it's a worthwhile goal to strive towards and really work hard towards. So the first objective, very specifically, is the reduction of the greenhouse gas emissions. We can achieve this through different infrastructure projects. We need to start doing regular reporting and have that very transparently reported. And incentive structures for individuals as well. The second objective is using the University of Regina as a living lab. So the concept of a living lab is allowing us to act, monitor, and model sustainability on campus. So the idea is that we would pilot new technologies. We would have, you know, whether it's new buildings or new structures or new technologies that are actually being implemented on campus. And we can use these as an example of how it works. We can integrate it into our U of R campus ecosystem, demonstrate the successes of it, and use it as this living lab. The reduction in production of waste and consumption of water. When it comes to water, we are living in a, you know, the University of Regina is situated in a semi-arid climate. We have concerns about water here. Water quantity and quality is an issue throughout the southern half of the province, and we need to be aware of that. And we need to be modeling how best to mitigate this. So again, we have very good, strong research in the area of water quantity and quality. And so promoting that and pursuing that more in the future, but also how we are working with our infrastructure in terms of water consumption and ways that we can reduce our water consumption. Similarly with the production of waste, so considering how much waste we are producing, reducing that by 25% within 5 years. Our final area of focus is impact and identity. So coming back, so in terms of strengthening our connections, we are strengthening our connections with our communities. So this one started to get really exciting when we started discussing that the U of R will be reaching we will be having our 50th anniversary in 2024. So in this 5-year period, our 50th anniversary will be coming up, so as an independent institution. And this is going to award us a unique opportunity to really reflect on where we've been. So who have we been? Where did we come from? Where are we right now? How can we articulate that? What have we learned from that past? What does that mean about who we are and where are we going from here? So this provides us with, it's a very exciting time for us to reflect on how we meet provincial, national, and global societal needs and position ourselves to be key members of our society. So our goal here is to measure and improve our recognized comprehensive impact of our University of Regina activities. So these will include economic, social, and research impacts. So again, really starting to measure these. We have done some of this in the past, but bringing this to the forefront, spending time finding our baseline, see where we are now in terms of our impact, and then improving that over the 5-year period as well. So our objectives under this area are first to broaden our partnerships. And so we want to broaden and strengthen our partnerships. And this is working with government, working with Indigenous communities, working with nonprofit, non-governmental agencies, industry as well. So getting these partnerships, reciprocal partnerships with these different groups and working together so that our work, our teaching and our research is relevant to society. Our institutional identity, again, this is part of that 50th anniversary reflection, but really trying to identify our unique characteristics, define what it means to be a member of the U of R community. We really want to cultivate a pride in place at the U of R. In terms of social impact, as our last objective here, so measuring and monitoring the social impact of our teaching and our research, but also strengthening our social impact through activities such as enhanced flexible learning, opportunities through micro and meso credentialing. So that is the strategic plan. The content of it is, Roger said, a large overview of it. If you are interested and want to get into the details, each of these objectives has many action items under them in the full plan, which is available online now. Before I wrap up, I'm going to pass the floor over to our student representative, Brittany Leitner. So Brittany was an absolutely phenomenal team member, and I'm really excited to have her speak to you today. She's an undergraduate student in arts education. She's been an active member of many campus groups during her tenure at the U of R, and she's been very heavily involved in many campus events and has participated and helped organize a few conferences on campus as well. So these experiences that she has had made her a very valuable member of our team and came with different perspectives that I think the rest of us didn't have. And so really appreciate her contributions to this. So I'll pass it over to you, Brittany, from here.
All right, thank you, Carrie. I'd like to join my fellow presenters as well as our strategic plan facilitation team in thanking you all for coming today, welcoming you to our launch. We're really excited. And so I was brought on to the facilitation team back in September, and I was really encouraged to see the diverse group of the university, different people from all corners of our university who had come together, who are all really dedicated to seeing a student voice integrated into the organization of the plan. So as a student, I was really excited to get on board and to be a part of this. And as Carrie articulated, it was really a focus of our group as we collaborated as a team to have this plan really reflect our community. So we really work to hear from stakeholders in our community and have those be the primary areas of focus for us. So my focus in the plan mainly followed research and engagement with our student stakeholders. So I was out in the community talking to our students, hearing their concerns, their passion areas. So from local students, international students, our undergraduate students, our graduate students, really hearing the interest of our community and our student voices. So things like well-being, indigenization, sustainability, all those things reflected in our 5 areas of focus were really the primary concerns we kept hearing, and those passions from our students that we really wanted to be reflected in the plan. I know for myself, I don't only see my voice reflected in this plan, I see the voices of so many of our students in our diverse community, which is something that I'm really proud of as we set this plan in motion. Now, the screen you see here is a word cloud that I actually created back in the beginning stages of our collaborating as a team. And so we had been having these great conversations as we were developing each area. And these were the words that kept coming up in those conversations. So the words that are bigger are ones that were just continually reiterated and really stood out and were the words and language we really wanted to put into this plan. So words like bold, responsible, community, discovery, identity were the main focus areas that we really wanted to integrate. And I'm proud to say that I see these in the plan, and it really represents what we were able to create here. And I think most importantly, it really shows our strengths as a community. So we are a bold community. We do have a really strong identity. We encourage discovery, belonging, support, and those are the things that we continue to strive for to be better at as a university community. Really, truly, community is at the heart of our plan and was a focus in all 5 areas. And so it was great to be a student and offer my perspective on the plan. I think this word cloud became a sort of motivator as we were continuing on in our collaborations and in our conversations. And I think even now, as we set this plan in motion, it still is an encouragement to see these as the strengths of our community. In these uncertain times of COVID, I know as a student, it's hard to know what next steps to take. A lot of people are asking questions and wondering what their university experience is going to look like. And so I think not only does this plan reflect our world, even though it was developed before these times, it is still very much relevant, very much effective for our university. And I think we can use it to support our community in remembering that we're in this together and knowing what steps to take moving forward. Specifically with our title, all our relations, that really drives home the fact that we are in this together. We are a strong community, and we will continue to be a strong community moving forward. And it reminds us of our goals as a university and our mission to be
Oh, did we lose Brittany?
better. And as we move forward out of these as a student, I'm really happy to be a part of this plan, and I know for future students coming in, and as they are a part of our university, this plan will really be reflected of their experiences as well. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
I'll pass it back to you, Carrie.
Thanks, Brittany. Yeah, sorry, I think you cut out or I cut out, and I zipped ahead a little bit. Yeah, so as you can see, I mean, Brittany, we totally hit the jackpot with her. Absolutely loved working with you and your commitment to this process. And really, like, the luck didn't stop there. Our facilitation team, I cannot say enough good things about everybody on the team. A number of people, everyone here was so committed, so engaged. so dedicated to the process. We didn't always agree on everything, and that was kind of the point of it, but the productive conversations that we had, I think, really helped to get us to the point where this final product, I think we are all quite proud of. So a huge thanks to everybody, to Werner, Mark, Naomi, Amy, Hussam, Brittany, Keith, Brian, Divyesh, Catherine, Michelle, Pam, and Collie. I also want to thank our consultants from Deloitte. I want to thank the University Advancement and Communications team that really helped bring this together in the last couple of weeks for the launch. And the university executive team as well. We got so much support from the executive team throughout this process. And I think it really helped to pave the way for how smoothly things went since September. So there we are. So just to wrap up, so that's an overview of what our plan looks like. I've said it before, but I'll say it again. I'm very excited to see where we're going to get in the next 5 years. I'm looking forward to working with people within our U of R community, but also outside our community, working with our partners, our friends, our brothers and sisters in Treaty 4 and Treaty 6. And we have had the title translated into the Treaty 4 and Treaty 6 languages. And thank you all for attending today. Kahkiyaw, kiwâhkômâkaninawak.
Thank you, Dr. Finley, Brittany, and the entire facilitation team for your dedication and extremely hard work. Just a reminder that shortly we will have a Q&A, so feel free to let us know through the chat feature by posting to everyone and sharing your full name and indicating that you have a question. We'll get through as many of those questions as time allows. Our next and final speaker this morning has been part of the University of Regina community for more than 40 years. First as a student, then after receiving his PhD from Glasgow University as a faculty member and administrator, then provost and vice president academic, and since April as our interim president and vice chancellor. There's no way when he signed up for the job that any of us could have known the challenges he would be called upon to lead us through. Speaking on behalf of the Board of Governors, I can say wholeheartedly that we are fortunate to have Dr. Chase leading us through these unforeseen and challenging times, along with the entire executive team of Dr. David Gregory, our interim provost and vice president academic, Dr. Kathy McNutt, our new vice president research, Mr. David Button, our vice president administration, Ms. Glenna Sylvester, executive director, university governance and university secretary, and Ms. Lisa Mitchell, Associate Vice President, University Advancement and Communications. Dr. Chase was clear with us that his focus for his time as interim president would be focused on the implementation of the new strategic plan. COVID-19 has shifted that focus for some months now. But I am pleased to say that in the midst of working with all of you to move our courses to remote learning, distant teaching formats, he has never lost sight of the bigger leadership picture. And that brings us to today. On behalf of the Board of Governors and the University of Regina community, I am again honored to ask Dr. Chase to speak with us. Dr. Chase.
Good morning, Roger. Thank you very much for those very, very kind words. It's great to see so many people, I believe well over 200 on this call. Elder Dennis, thank you very much for the blessing and for your very deep involvement in the preparation of this new strategic plan. I think everyone on the call will have seen with Dr. Finley leading us through a high-level summary of the plan, and then Brittany Leitner sharing her perspectives as a facilitation team member, tremendous quality of faculty and students we have on this campus who animate this campus, who make it go, and who have been involved now in shaping a large part of its future. So thank you very much to both of you. All our relations, kahkiyaw, kiwâhkômâkaninawak is a fitting successor to the recent plans that came before it. In 2009 to 14, there was Mama Wokamachua, which is our work, our people, and our communities. From 2015 to 2020, Piakaski Kigamana, together we are stronger. And now, kahkiyaw, kiwâhkômâkaninawak builds on them and yet sends us in new directions. Strategic planning is important for so many reasons. It is not just checking off a box. Self-reflection is important. Collaboration, bringing together people from very different parts of campus and very different walks of life two-eyed seeing, viewing things from different perspectives, creativity and innovation, infusing new life into an institution, reaffirming the institution's values, uniting the institution and the community around common vision, mission, and values, and guidance for the future, a way to give us direction. This plan does all of those things. The direction it provides is more important than ever. We are living in uncertain and unprecedented times. And as Carrie and Roger have pointed out, and Brittany echoed, much of the formation of this plan took place before COVID-19 came onto the horizon, and the ground has shifted beneath us. But once we get through this plan is going to guide us. It's going to guide us starting now and taking us forward well into the institution's second half century. So it will inform decision-making at the university for years to come, based on values like equity, diversity, and inclusion, community and social responsibility, and Indigenous ways of knowing. The 5 areas of focus are appropriate. Discovery is critical because it is why students and faculty are here, and it makes an impact beyond the campus. And I would cite only one thing mentioned: the work on campus and mental health right now is helping people throughout the province and across the country, and indeed around the world. Truth and reconciliation: create and live a new vision for the next generations. We must walk together in this province, in this country, and this plan will help us do that. Well-being and belonging: creating an environment in which everyone feels a part of the university community, and that we take and support each other's health and wellness as well. Environment and climate action: being cognizant of the fact that we are stewards of this land and we are responsible to future generations for what we pass on to them in climate and land and water and so many other aspects. And impact and identity: to fully articulate and celebrate our identities and impacts on our society. So 5 by 2025, it's a great way to realize these objectives. 5 goals to be completed in each area by 2025. It is, as Carrie said, ambitious, but we think it is achievable and we think it is measurable. The institution-wide operationalization of this plan and next steps: we all need to reflect and see where we fit in. It cannot be all top-down, but UET, in consultation, will consider priorities. And we plan to relaunch with students at the appropriate time, possibly in the fall. So I want to conclude with some words of thanks. First of all, to the facilitation team, Carrie, Brittany, and the whole team. Thank you so much for literally hundreds of hours of work, of consultation with well over 1,000 people as you put this plan together and bring it today for its wonderful launch. I want to thank the faculty, the staff, and the many community members in the city and beyond, our alumni, government, our business partners, everyone, for their support of the plan now and going forward. It is an excellent plan. It reflects the university's and community's collective vision. I look forward so much in working with you in years to come to implement this plan and bring it to fruition. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Chase. And thank you again to the university community of faculty and staff, the university executive team, Senate, and Council for moving the university so skillfully and nimbly through these unprecedented and challenging times. And now it's your turn. We have a few questions, and if there are any others we would like to ask a question, post to everyone. Under the chat feature your full name and indicate that you have a question, and we'll do our best to get to each of you. When you do hear your name, please turn on your microphone and camera and then ask your question. If we get to 11 before we finish answering your questions, please send your questions or comments to strategic.planning@uregina.ca. You'll receive a response in short order. Okay, the first question is from Britt Hall. Please turn on your mic and share your question.
Hi, thank you very much. First of all, congratulations, Carrie, and all of the team for this fantastic plan. I'm really excited about it. There's just a lot of really good stuff in there. So congratulations, and thank you very much for the work that you've done over the past seems like a long time, but I know it's only been about 8 months, but it was a fantastic effort. Thank you. Just for those of you who do not know me, my name is Britt Hall. I'm a faculty member in the Department of Biology and Science, and I'm the president-elect of IRFA. And my question actually pertains to my new role, and that is that in objective 3, or in the overarching theme number 3, the goal is mentions explicitly student metrics, and you got to in the sub goals, you know, there was a discussion about faculty and staff health, wellness, mental health, but there's nothing explicit in there for the faculty and staff. And of course, the university is a partnership. Without students, we are not a university, and yet without our faculty and staff, we are also not a university. So I'm just wondering why faculty and staff were not included in that overall objective for focus number 3. And I'm kind of on a busy street right now, so I'm going to retreat so that I can hear you better. And once again, congratulations and thank you.
Thank you, Britt. Yeah, I appreciate all your kind words there. And I noticed that this morning as well. I mean, in our discussion of the thriving metrics, it was, I think part of it was that some of these thriving metrics have been developed for students elsewhere, but we weren't familiar with it being developed for staff and faculty as well. I think we need to do that as well. I would love to see that modified. I actually almost deleted the word student in there, but then just this morning, because I think the thriving metrics need to apply to everybody in the U of R community. So I would love to see that applied across the board and not just with students. Students, absolutely, but I think everybody on campus needs to feel that we want everybody to have that sense of purpose, you know why you're coming to work, every day, or coming to class every day, and that sense of belonging, that you do belong here.
Thank you, Brett. Thank you, Carrie. It would appear we've got a very quiet group out there.
It's all crystal clear.
I'll just give another minute in case anyone likes to sign on to ask any more questions.
Maybe, Roger, I could just kick in with an echo to what Carrie has said. Yes, the wellness, broadly construed, of everybody on the campus community, faculty, staff, and students, is absolutely essential, especially as we move into what will be a new normal post-COVID. We really need, as a community, to learn to take care of one another and to encourage each other to take care of ourselves. So yeah, very much, very supportive of Britt's comments. Thank you, Britt.
Thank you, Tom. We do have some more questions. Jerome?
Hi, thanks. First of all, I want to thank the whole team for all the work they've done, for giving us a chance to take part in it. I think it was a good consultation process. I have a question that's maybe more for the executive team at this point about the next steps. Obviously, I'm more concerned about truth and reconciliation because that's where I tend to fall under the university. But what kind of process do we have in mind for setting specific goals and measuring whether we're achieving them or not?
That's a good question, Jerome. Thank you very much. We need to consult and will consult with the community, the campus community, on goal setting. Ultimately, the executive team is responsible for taking those goals forward, the draft of those goals forward to the board for discussion and approval. The board then approves a final set of, if you like, performance metrics, and the executive team is held accountable in regular fashion for the achievement, the measurement, achievement, reporting out of all of those metrics. Some are easier to formulate than others. For example, on a sustainability index, it might be relatively easy to say we want to reduce greenhouse gas by a certain percentage each year, and we in fact have said that. That's quite measurable. Something that is larger, broader, more abstract, truth and reconciliation, there's going to be an active set of discussions on how we meaningfully measure something like that, report out to it, and be accountable for it to the board and the university community and the wider community. So great question, and thank you.
We have one from Dr. Garth Picard.
Well, good morning, and it's just fantastic and I want to congratulate the team, because they've done a marvelous job in moving this whole strategic plan forward. My question has to do with two things: the whole orientation to sustainability. The idea being that it seems it's implicit through the strategic plan. However, for example, in the word cloud and in the document itself and in the slides, I have not seen sustainability in relationship to the well-being of all. It's focused in on our students, our faculty and staff, but we're really looking at more of a global impact where we see that we're really totally concerned about all things living and inanimate. So I know there's the goal related to environment, and that has to do with structural things and outcomes that Tom just discussed. But how do we help our students, faculty, and staff understand their role in the larger perspective? In other words, sustaining the well-being of all over the long term, and how it connects with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals and looking forward to 2030. Thanks very much.
Thanks for that, Garth. Yeah, I think some of the things I didn't present everything that's in the plan. So I think you will appreciate when you look at the full plan online. We do have a section right at the end directly addressing how we believe our plan does address the UN Sustainability Development Goals, the SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. So that is in the plan. We did have conversations about that, and I like how we managed to align these things. Similarly, I didn't mention and didn't get into our vision, mission, and values, which I think, is that bigger question of the well-being of all over the long term. We've changed our vision to reflect a phrase that Vianne used frequently while she was here, that we want to reflect the world that we want to live in. And I think that encompasses it. How we do that, how we, achieve these targets that you're looking at and trying to get that to our students and discuss it with our students and feel it across the board, I think is absolutely a challenge. But I really appreciate you bringing that up. And I think, having these conversations frequently and bringing it into the conversation is the first step.
Carrie, thanks for your leadership. It was excellent.
Thank you, Garth.
Thank you, Carrie, for that answer. Thank you, Dr. Picard. While there looks like there is more questions, we're also getting, and which is really nice to see, a lot of very positive comments to the team. Congratulations, etc. So thank you very much for everybody taking the time to write those notes. Please also, please send in more questions through the email, Mark. I'm going to have to bring this to a close. Unfortunately, we are bringing this to a hard stop at 11 a.m. So I would like to take this moment to reach out and say thank you to Elder Dennis Omosi, Dr. Carrie Finley, Brittany Leitner, and Dr. Tom Chase as our speakers. Thank you very much. Truly appreciated that. And thank you to our special guests and each and every faculty and staff member for joining us this morning. All our relations, kahkiyaw, kiwâhkômâkaninawak is truly our plan. Let's take the incredible work of more than 1,300 participants and the facilitation team and breathe life into its mission, vision, and the 5 by 2025 areas of focus. We have 5 years, including our 50th in 2024, to create an even greater impact on our campus, in our communities, and around the world. On behalf of the Board of Governors, we approved this thoughtful, measured, and yes, ambitious plan because we know the caliber and quality of the University of Regina community. And we know that working together, this plan is achievable. Thank you for your time this morning. Visit uregina.ca to read our 2020-2025 strategic plan. And also early next week, we'll post a link on this page, on that page of today's presentation. Thank you and stay safe.